Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to explore a topic that many couples find difficult to face: the brutal truth about your sexless marriage. This presentation will shed light on the underlying issues and help you understand what's really happening behind closed doors. We'll cover the emotional dynamics, common excuses, and how perceptions of desire and attraction can influence your relationship. So, let's get started and dive into this important conversation. Let's talk about the delusion she lives in. This is the woman you couldn't keep your hands off at the beginning, the one you felt lucky to have. But what often happens is that she starts to see herself as a prize you should cherish, and she might even believe she's doing you a favor by giving you just scraps of affection. The problem is, she doesn't see the disconnect. She doesn't realize that her value in your eyes has been slowly eroding. And it's not because she's aged physically. No, it's because she's stopped investing in the relationship. Now, here's the key part. This isn't just her delusion. It's reinforced every single day by you. Every time you tolerate this situation by being understanding or by staying silent, you're actually feeding into that false belief. Patience, in your mind, might seem like love, but what it's really doing is teaching her that minimal effort from her side still earns her maximum reward from you. And that's the dangerous cycle we need to recognize and break. When we talk about the real problem, it's important to recognize that it's not just about sex itself. This isn't only about physical intimacy. It's about how she perceives you, how she sees you as a person. It's also about how she values you, what you mean in her life. Often, what happens is that she's kind of locked you into certain roles, like the provider, the roommate, or the safety net, while the lover role gets completely shut out. It's like she's keeping you in these practical roles, but sealing off the emotional and intimate connection that should be there. And here's the critical part. Every time you accept neglect without pushing back or setting boundaries, you're essentially signing your own sexual death certificate. You're telling her that neglect is okay, that you're willing to accept being sidelined. And that's a dangerous place to be because it can gradually erode the intimacy and connection you're really craving. So, understanding this helps us see that the issue runs deeper than just sex. It's about the emotional and relational dynamics that shape your entire relationship. Let's talk about a common misunderstanding many married women have, thinking that male attention equals value. The reality is male attention can be very cheap. Men will flirt with anything that looks moderately attractive. It could be a simple smile from a trainer at the gym, a few likes on Instagram, or just a polite coworker. She might see these as proof she's still irresistible. But here, the key point, meaningless attention isn't the same as being truly chosen. It's like comparing monopoly money to real currency. She might interpret flirtation as her market value, but that's a mistake. Flirtation doesn't equate to genuine worth or real interest. It's important to recognize the difference between fleeting attention and authentic validation. So on this slide, we're exploring why she might stop trying in the relationship. The first key point is when she believes her presence alone is enough. When she feels that simply being there is enough to keep things going, she might start to withdraw. Next, she stops initiating intimacy. That means she's no longer making the first move, putting in effort to create closeness or connection. She also stops putting in effort to look good for you. Maybe she isn't dressing up or doing those little things that once showed she cared about impressing you. Instead, she might save her best energy for strangers, coworkers, or social outings, those environments where she feels she needs to put on her best face. But at home, she might just throw on sweatpants and act indifferent. And this all ties into the idea that in her mind, the game is over. She might think, I've already locked this down, so she feels no need to compete or try anymore. This shift in behavior signals that she's giving up, or at least pulling back, because she perceives the relationship as secure, and therefore, less urgent to invest effort in. Understanding this helps us see how these subtle signs can indicate her emotional state and the underlying reasons behind her actions. So here, where things often get really uncomfortable to admit, you see, you played a role in teaching her this pattern. You might not realize it, but by your actions, or sometimes your inactions, you've shown her that certain behaviors are acceptable. For example, she withdraws sexually, and instead of addressing it, you stay committed, hoping things will improve. When she neglects your needs, you remain faithful, even though your needs are being ignored. Or perhaps she treats you like a roommate, and yet you keep paying the bills, maintaining the status quo. The key issue here is, where's the consequence? Where's the standard that signals this is okay? Your silence, your inaction, has communicated everything she needed to know. She can neglect you indefinitely without losing anything. And that's a dangerous message because it reinforces the idea that neglect and withdrawal are tolerated, which only perpetuates the cycle. This slide really highlights how important it is to understand the power of consequences and standards in relationships, and how our silence can unintentionally send the wrong signals. Let's talk about what I call the masculine failure. Now, it's important to understand that masculine energy isn't about domination or control. Instead, it's about qualities like leadership, decisiveness, and simply being present. When a man stops leading, when he becomes passive or indecisive, he unintentionally causes her to lose respect for him. And as that respect fades, so does her desire. Women don't actually want men they can control, ignore, or take for granted. Desire isn't about manipulation or power over her. It's about the sense of challenge, confidence, and unpredictability a man brings. When a man becomes predictable, passive, or acts as if there are no consequences to his actions, that desire begins to fade. So the key takeaway here is that maintaining your masculine energy, your leadership and presence, is crucial for keeping her desire alive. When that's lost, it's not because you're unattractive. It's because you've become too predictable and too safe, which kills attraction over time. Female desire in long-term relationships is often misunderstood, and here's what most men don't realize. Female desire isn't constant, it's actually responsive. It fluctuates based on various factors, and it's not something that just stays steady over time. Novelty, for example, tends to fade, and biological shifts can influence her desire levels. Plus, when things become too comfortable, it can kill the polarity, that spark that keeps attraction alive. So, maintaining long-term attraction isn't about waiting for desire to magically appear. It requires effort, intentional tension, and conscious cultivation. If you're hoping she'll only want intimacy when she's already feeling it, you're setting yourself up for frustration because she might be waiting forever. Desire, at its core, is a choice you make. It's not just a feeling that happens to you. And here's the key. If you're waiting for her to reignite things without any effort or consequence on your part, you risk heading toward a sexless marriage. The takeaway is that desire needs nurturing, and it's something both partners actively create. Understanding this is essential to sustaining passion in a long-term relationship. Why consequences matter is a crucial concept to understand. Human beings, men and women alike, don't really change just because we complain or nag. Change happens when there are real consequences that make us reflect and act. When neglect creates distance, that's when people start paying attention. It's often the absence of something that sparks awareness. Similarly, when taking someone for granted creates risk, like losing their love or respect, that's when appreciation begins to grow. People start recognizing what they might lose and begin to value it more. And when benefits stop flowing without reciprocation, that's when effort is likely to return. People want fairness and balance. They want to see their efforts matter. Now, think about your own marriage. Right now, it might be consequence-free. There are no clear signs that your partner needs you to step up. That's why her effort might be at zero, because she doesn't see a reason to invest more. The key takeaway here is that consequences drive change. Without them, effort and engagement can fade away. Understanding this helps us realize how to create the right conditions for growth and connection. All right, let's talk about the shift you need to make. This isn't about punishing her or making her feel guilty. It's really about respecting yourself and your own boundaries. When she rejects intimacy, instead of pushing or trying to force connection, it's healthier to hold back the comfort of cuddles. It's a way of showing that your affection is not unconditional and that her actions have an impact. Next, when she treats you dismissively, don't try to chase her or argue. Instead, remove your energy from the room. It's a gentle, natural way of signaling that your presence and attention are not something to be taken for granted. When she takes you for granted, don't just react with frustration. Invest your time elsewhere, in things or people who value you. And I want to emphasize, this isn't about anger or manipulation. It's about a natural withdrawal of energy when your efforts aren't appreciated. By doing this, you're actually giving her a chance to feel the absence of your full presence. Sometimes, people need to experience what they're missing to truly value it again. So, this shift is about respecting yourself enough to set boundaries, and about allowing space for genuine appreciation to grow. It's a powerful, respectful way to foster healthier dynamics in the relationship.